When you are doing reporting, you need to do your reports monthly and obviously as quick and as accurate as possible. So what I generally see people doing is they spend about 100% time on compiling a report, and then they spend 0 time on analyzing the report. Now the perfect relationship is about 80-20. You should spend about 20% compiling the report and 80% analyzing the report. Then that takes away errors, and you can give better reports that's more valuable and accurate, and obviously on time. So I'm going to take you through a few steps of how to do reports. So there's a certain standard which you need to keep, and a structure. If you build this structure into your reports, then this means that if you keep to this structure, you will have a perfect report, which can take you minutes to complete every month. So there's a few steps you need to follow to be able to get to that level. The first thing you need to do is you need to have the correct source data. What does source data mean? So if I look at this example I've got 4 months, so that's effectively 4 sources. So this can be TBs that I've downloaded, so every month I would have copied it in. So you can obviously go up to 12 months or as many as you want. So now the first thing we need to make sure is that never change the actual download from a system. If we had a download that had actually 3 rows on top and 2 columns on the left, when this download started here, don't go every month and go delete this or go delete that. Keep it exactly as it is, because this will help you to compile the actual report, and it will save time. If you know that your system will download your data like this every single month, then just build your formulas around this, because it will save a lot of time. Because if you have to change this format every month, what happens if you're not there? Then you have to tell somebody, listen, go to this columns and delete it, then go to this rows and delete it. So keep the same format as the system. It just helps with other people also using your report. The next thing you need to make sure is you need to make sure that your data is correct, your source data is correct. So for example, if I'm using a TB and it doesn't balance when I start off with, then you're going to get to a balance sheet that does not balance, and you're not going to understand why. Your cash flow might not balance, and you're never going to understand why it's not balancing. So make sure the place where you start, that's already accurate. So let's use this example again. So at this stage, I'm not even counting it, so there must be something wrong with my numbers. So the problem is we've got this R's in. So let's take that currency out quickly. I'm just going to say replace R with nothing, and now we've got numbers. So if I select this, then it's got a 0 sums, which means it balances. If it doesn't balance, then it means we can't even go further, because we're starting off with the incorrect source data. So we need to first fix this, or make sure we know why it's not balancing, and either do a correcting journal or just correct the source data. So make sure it's always correct before you go on. The last thing about source data you need to know is that make sure that every single download you get is consistent. If you've got the first download where you're using the exact download out of the system, then make sure the next one is doing the same. Don't go in month 1 and take out the R's and make it a number, and in month 2 you don't do it, because then it's not going to be consistent. You're going to do some formulas in your consolidated TBs to be able to get this to the correct formats and to a usable format. So we'll do that later, but the important thing is make sure your data is consistent. So firstly, make sure that you never change raw data, make sure it's correct, and then ensure that you always use consistent data.